we're still connecting, and it looks like we're connected. Yep. Should be all good. So.
Okay. We'll call the order the Columbia City Parks Board meeting tonight. What's the date? 11/26/2024. Well, first item we'll discuss here is our roll call. Not much to discuss, but go ahead.
Karen Cody.
Kim Varga.
And Mark Ellis, and Matt is here as well. Did everyone get a chance to review the meeting minutes from September's meeting that we had? We skipped October.
Yeah, we didn't have a quorum for October. So.
Right.
I'd move that we accept the notes, or is that from the last meeting?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, so that is done. So we will go on to number 2 here, new business.
Yep.
And we'll just, go ahead, Matt.
The new dugouts, OnTurf helped us raise, or they basically raised the money to help us with the dugouts, new dugouts. They raised, I'm not quite sure what they raised, but we had set back money for these next 4 that are coming up. And so we have gotten a mason, Mike Rozier, and he is, all the foundations are concreted and in. We are just now, he's laid some corner blocks on some of them, and so now he's getting ready to go up. I know now the weather's going to be a problem for him,
Right.
but he, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago, they were done, and he was trying to get a crew to come in and like put them all up with a big crew. But
Nice.
So what fields are these?
these are fields 1 and 2.
Okay.
We already have them on 3 and 4. We the last time we did dugouts, and with OnTurf's help, is we were able to go to Morsh's, and they donated the roofing material. So everything, because you'll just have a square block building, and they donated everything that
All the
pertains
lumber for the roof.
for the roof, and it was outstanding. So I have to go over there. I know that when I went there last year, or maybe it was the year before, it was the year before, because we put those in COVID, the 4 that were already up. I asked them, and they said that it shouldn't be a problem. But again, it's been a year past that, so I do need to just touch base with them and make sure that that's still a go. And kind of on the dugout and finishing the fields. I don't know if you guys have been down there, but Field 3 got all new lighting.
Not been down there in it's dark.
No, good.
Okay. Field 3 got all new lighting 2-3 years ago. It's probably been 3 years. Done by Musco. And I was down at IPRA last month. And, well, no, actually still this month, because November. And I got a hold of Musco. I did not have his contact information, so I was able to get his contact information, and he came up to see what it would cost to do Field 4. Because when we did Field 3, we set 2 poles, and they were common poles. So we already have a quarter of Field 4 lit.
Yeah.
So he's currently trying to get me an estimate. And what we're trying to do is, when we do this, trying to get more light to maybe 1 on this side, so that we can kind of go gradually around. The first set of lights, I don't know if you guys were in on that or not for the lighting, but it was pretty close to $300,000
I remember.
to get that set and the switch box. This one, we have only 4 poles. Yes, 4 poles that have to be put in, and then the wire pulled back to the switch. That's why I'm hoping it's less
A lot less,
expensive
yeah.
because it's already there. Field 1 and 2, however, it's going to be the whole switch
Yeah, 'cause
and
it's on the other side.
yeah, so it could potentially be back up there in that range. So once he gets that to me, then I'll know and I'll bring it to you guys and let you see that estimate.
Very cool. So on the dugouts,
mhm.
5 and 6, were those dugouts rebuilt?
A while ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
and
they're not cement block though, are they?
No, they're wood.
Okay, they're wood, yeah.
Yeah, and as far as right now, we don't have any expectation to
Okay.
do those.
How
Yeah.
about at Devol?
We could look into that if we have block left. What was awesome about On Turf is they actually went to, I don't know if you know Eric Shackle. Shekel. Oh yeah. But his company he works for is Block and Form and everything type concrete company. And so they went to them and they got all the block donated for. So all we're really paying for is the mason as of right now.
Nice.
So if we can get, well, mason and concrete and that stuff. But as far as the block goes, that was all donated by Mesalite, I think is what his company's name is. I'm not real sure, but his company, Eric's company, donated all that block. And we have to try to make a nice pattern out of it because it's kind of like, okay, we had 6 pallets of this and we have 4 pallets of this and we may have 1 pallet of that. And so but we try to do our best to make a nice colorful arrangement out of it. So if everything holds true, we will only have to have paid for the concrete floor inside the dugout and the mortar and that. So there'll be really a nice addition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll be huge.
Yeah, and then we are able to get the lights on the other field, and I mean it'll start. Yeah, people will know when those lights are on, so it'll be awesome. I got down here too the patriotic, the brick memorial. We're gonna have to enlarge that, which is a good thing. We've thought a different couple ways, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with it up there, but right now it has the monument in the middle, and then it has a big circle, and in the circle, it's a cross. So if this was the monument, then this is here, and here, and here. And then the circle goes out around that. Well, what we're looking into is we're going to try to get the block around the brick to kind of make like an edge for it. So we're going to try to make it as nice as we can. I know there's definitely a lot of citizens up there that watch that. And
So what's the purpose for enlarging it? Just as.
because there's more bricks being ordered. They're ordered through the mayor's secretary, and they have a website that they can go up and they can put their loved one on a brick. It's a lost soldier, or and we've got some up there that they served, and they're still around.
Nice.
So it's just Patriotic Park figured it should have something to do with
Right.
the military. So that's where we're going. So that's been a growing thing. And like I said on here, it's a good problem to have,
Mm-hmm.
but we're trying to figure out how to still make it look good.
Yeah.
So that's the process we're doing there. Speaking of DeVol, there's seniors out of Eagle Tech that are trying to do their capstone projects, and I have 3 of them right now. I have Eleanor Schmidt, and unfortunately I don't know the boys' last names, but it's Colin and Andrew. And Colin and Andrew are kind of doing it together. Andrew's going and trying they have to assess a need in the community. And then they have to figure out how you know, they can fix that problem, and then implement the fix, and then, you know, have it go all the way through and come out. Right now, they're in the part of getting all the material things around, knowing what they have to go out and possibly raise money for. So they're in that, you know, we know how to fix it, so let's see what we can afford
Okay.
to do that. So Andrew's doing basketball goals, backboards, sorry, and he wants to get new home plates for all the fields down at Morses. Colin is trying to work on shade because
Oh, that's a good idea.
because you know there's not a whole
Yes.
lot down there. So we've been discussing some areas, and I said it's something easier. You know, if we need to, the Vole needs something. At least the main four fields have a little bit with the blue canopies we put up currently. So if he needed to, we could go to DeVol depending on the pricing and put up a couple down there because there's nothing down there. So we're still weighing those. And then Eleanor, she wanted to do something with the tunnel that's there, the cross between DeVol and Baker. She's got some really good ideas. I'm kind of devil's advocate on that because, you know, you put a light up, they're going to smash it. Put a camera up, they're going to smash it. It's just going to be ongoing. So we've got some different things that we're looking at, and then why we are looking at this. Somebody posed the question of, well, is that even still safe? Because there's chunk of concrete coming down from the ceiling.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah, there's chunks. So I have a bridge inspector that's going to go out there. He's going to look at it and inspect it. So if he comes back and says it's okay, then we'll continue on with her project. And of course, if not, unfortunately, she may have to find something else.
Is she specifically looking at lighting in there, or just?
She's just trying to make it so it's more attractive. And, you know, that's a part of the park system there can be a potential of it not being safe.
Sure.
So she wanted to make it safer and make it pretty.
I've noticed over the years that the cement leading in and out of both ends, there's significant variations in the concrete, so there's steps and uneven surfaces to walk on as you go into it. Inside it, I think there might be a little bit there, but it's not nearly as bad as when you go in either end. That might be something else to work on.
Right,
Yeah.
and
So some, you know, so it can present a trip hazard.
and that's part of the inspection
Yeah.
that we're having
Sure.
done,
Yeah.
because there's some corners that have chunks out
Oh, wow.
inside, and I'm sure that tunnel's very old. So, and we have to go down 5-6 times a summer and paint over whatever. And we don't use white because it attracts people.
It becomes a canvas when it's white.
We use black, which is bad because then it makes it darker, but then you can't see certain colors
Right.
on the
Right.
black, so that helps out a little bit.
We usually do senior photos in that tunnel.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah.
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 Perfect. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a cool-
Well, and
a cool look.
you know, that's the one thing is that it's a pretty. I mean, everybody in the community knows that, and will get told the history of it, and you know, so it keeps that alive down there, knowing that that's the old high school football field and the cinder track and everything. But I mean, if it's one of those things where it's unsafe, then
Right.
you know it's unsafe. We don't want anybody to get hurt walking in and out. And it's a very good thing to have, so people can walk from
Yeah.
Dreamland over.
Oh, yeah.
And
absolutely.
moms go over there and they're pushing their strollers, and you know it's not like we want to take it away, but we do want to make it safe.
Mhm.
So And we had the mother-son. We sold out with that again this year. Very good turnout. Andrea and Melinda do a great job as always. They are always thinking to make it bigger and better. So, and can't wait to see what they're going to do with father-daughter this year. So, they're already in the works planning that.
You do such a good job.
Oh, it's amazing.
Is the father or the mother-son, is that always the weekend of our fall break?
Funny you mention that, because this year they decided, okay, we need to get away from fall break so that the employees can help.
Fall break?
Yeah, because, there's a couple that have kids and
Yeah.
Right.
they want to go on fall break. And we also need help from, Key Club or anything like that. And so it does pose a problem for us to have it on that day. And football. I mean, you're never going to get away from that.
Right.
So they came up with a very good idea. They said, okay, let's move it up a week so we can plan it for next year. We'll move it up. And everybody has been asking us, hey, can you move it? We moved away from fall break. What's the school do? They move the fall break up a week, and so we're still on the exact same weekend.
Oh, no.
Well, can you still be changed, right?
So what we're doing it is instead of closer to Halloween and it's more like a Halloween carnival, it ends up that we're going to be moving it to closer to the 1st of October.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So, I mean, hopefully it's still Halloweenish.
Kids will dress up anytime, they don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what we're looking at for
So
them
you're still
next
gonna
year.
move it for next year?
It will be moved
Okay.
next year.
That's
Yep.
a great idea. 'cause
It,
then-
I know we go on fall break and
Yeah.
it kills, because she went, one year it wasn't, and she took her boys, and has been disappointed every year since, because
Mhm.
really loves it, thinks
Yeah.
it's so much fun.
And it's hard to judge that because we had that date picked
Mm-hmm.
2-3 weeks or even more than that, and then the school picked it like 2 weeks after we got done with mother son, they picked fall break. So there's no way for us to be able to know when the school's going
Right.
to do that. So we'll see how it goes this year, and it may be something that we stay forward with.
Good.
That gives the kids more times that they can wear their costumes too.
Right.
Mhm.
My
More,
kid-
more,
my-
yes,
yeah,
I
more
love it.
opportunities.
More opportunities, yep.
Yeah, and just a great way to kick off Halloween
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
month.
Yeah. Yeah, it should.
And it's a great idea.
And we're trying. We've had, we even feel the pain of that one
Right.
being on
Right.
fall break. So.
Right, because then people who want to go on fall break can't because they're dedicated to that, helping with that. It's both ways.
Or we can only have a certain number of people be able
Right.
to go on fall break, and that's always
Yeah.
tedious because you tell somebody they can go, but you got to tell somebody else they got to stay. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. So hopefully that works out better this
Good.
year.
Good.
So obviously you see the ice skating rink down. We'll be
Yes.
kicking that off December 7th. And it goes through February, the first weekend in February. I don't know if that's the second or the third. I don't know right off the top of my head. We're doing events this year. I don't know if you guys have seen the
Saw
calendar.
something, there's something with, is it Santa?
Yep.
Yeah, I just saw that on, today.
Yep.
Like, I think the 23rd or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, the ladies are getting some events around. It's Cookies with Santa
Mhm.
on that day. They're having a superhero day,
Hmm.
and it's all over the Christmas break
Nice.
time. So the kids can come over and, they're probably going to want to see the people. I think there's going to be, I don't know, in the past we've had a Princess Day.
I remember that.
And they got to skate with the princesses, and they're probably not going to be able to skate with Santa. I don't.
He's old.
Yeah, I mean, he'd probably go around the rink way too fast, and and they wouldn't be able to keep up. And then the biggest thing that we were going to talk about last time on here was the pool pricing. We have not changed any pricing since 2018. So that's the first year that the pool opened. And I think I gave you,
We have membership rates from 24, and then also those
Yeah.
for 25.
did I sneak this into any of you guys' packets? It's kind of like a Excel spreadsheet that,
Yeah, I got one.
okay, you got one, okay.
I thought I did.
So you can see there where we ended up at the end of the year. Is it in the back, on towards the back, Mark?
Yeah, there's a, should be the page right before this one.
Oh, right before the writing?
Yeah.
And if you
Oh, I
guys.
don't have those pie charts.
Oh, I've got pie charts, huh?
Well, I
Oh,
had.
wait, you're on the wrong one.
Oh, I'm in
The
the-
meeting agenda.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
Is it this one?
That's
Yes,
why.
yeah, correct.
There we go.
There we go.
Yes,
Okay,
Got
so
it.
you can kind of take a peek there at what the revenue was for the pool this year, and you can see there was quite a shortfall.
no kidding.
$68,000.
So,
Wow.
and again, we haven't done anything with pricing since 2018, and there's been a lot changed since 2018. So what staff and I sat down and we put together what you see there is the 2024 rates, that those have not changed since 2018. And then we kind of put together the 2025 rates. And this is kind of more of a big deal because in December, the memberships go on sale at 45% off, and that's usually when most people grab them, obviously, because it's a big savings for them. So, and then when we go on spring break, the sale is 25%. I know that's not on there, but it got cut off. So like single adult, we went up $30. We went up $25 for child and senior. Family of 3. I can't do that real fast. Not quite. Was that the $30 too? No. $60? Is that
What's that?
the price we went up on?
It'll be 33. From family of 3, from 119 to 152. Is that what you're talking about? Or?
No,
Oh,
from
you're over on the
215
other
to
side. I'm looking at
275.
the-
Yeah, so
So
that
that's
is $60.
Yeah.
Yeah, $60.
Yeah, that's $60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you can see how we
Mhm.
just kind of tallied that on up. And we got the daily admission at $7, $2 on that. And we did a little bit different on the pavilion. It's still 3 hours rental, but we went up $50. But we still kept the 20 admissions for free. But because I don't know about you guys, but if I have 20 admissions for free, I'm only inviting 20 people.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not going to have 22 people show up and have the last 2 have to pay
Mm-hmm.
the admission. You know, which we were at the time doing $2. This time we would be looking at just 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you have 30 people show up, and if I'm renting the pavilion, and I know there's gonna be 30 people show up, I'm covering the cost for those 10 additional people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. So that was something we were looking at there, and then of course the nonprofit we didn't change except for the additional people over over 20. We went ahead and did that. And that's kind of to help out with wages. Pool chemicals went skyrocket. Chlorine went nuts over the last 2 years.
Yeah, $41,000 for chemicals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would say, well, all but, well, we got the acid, the hydrochloric acid, 8 barrels, and that itself was, I want to say $16,000. And so the rest of that was chlorine. And we got 4 pallets or 5 pallets of the 60-pound buckets. So, yeah. And then this year was hot and sunny, so the chlorine didn't want to stick around.
Oh, it's evaporate off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Plus you got bather loads. I mean, we were at capacity a lot,
Mm-hmm.
so those people
Yeah, they're taking
going
it out.
in and then they're taking it out.
Evaporates
and-
off. Yeah.
yeah. So there's a lot of that stuff that factor into it, and with such a big gap, we kind of want to close that
What
as
are
much as we
the-
can.
We have wages up here and then we have pool wages. What are the above wages? Oh, is that for concessions?
Well, you got concession
No, I
wages.
see. Oh, I see that.
And then the swim team wage. And then you got the pool managers, and
Find
the
it,
pool
like
wages,
this one up
okay.
here, is that concession, what's that wages? The
Really
top one.
confused about this sheet.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
Yeah, the wages of 5,600, then there's wage concessions, 22,000.
Yeah, that's for all the summer help. The wage, of the concession is the admin. So that's the admin people, I believe.
The top wages?
I believe. Don't quote me on that.
And
I
then
feel
there's
like if
pool
we're,
wages.
if we have wage concessions, that we should also have concessions profit, right?
Right. What?
Okay,
That's not
okay.
even on there.
Yeah, I knew that would come up. What is done in the beginning of the year when the budgets come out, they give us an amount for that line item in the budget. So if we spent 200,000 on product last year, then what they'll say is, okay, maybe we'll put 150,000 in that account, or we'll put 200,000 in that account for you, and then all the revenue goes back into more of a general pot. A normal business would put that money back into the concession stand
Mm-hmm.
so that it could, you do that with a business, you want to grow it. So in this case, you're, a not-for-profit, so you bring it back and you put it into a general fund. And it usually comes up as parks miscellaneous. And that's a non-reverting, and it gets into kind of crazy stuff where you have the taxable budget and then you have the non-taxable
Oh.
budget. So the tax is what we get set from the state. And so the non-reverting is something that can be just kind of estimated and put in there. So that's why they don't show. It's the same thing for like fundraisers. If a fundraiser goes out, and if Keith was here, he would look at me cross-eyed because it's hard to grasp the fact that when you do a fundraiser and you get this money, the line item is based on what they spent. The rest of that fundraiser doesn't go specifically to that account. That fundraiser goes into the same fund as what the the concessions would go into. So it's a very complicated thing, and I'm probably not explaining it exactly correct anyways. But I guess the easiest way for me to say it is that when you have a private business or a business, whatever your shortfall is, you might be able to charge a little bit more to keep that, so that you can continue to do business.
Mm.
Well, they give us a line item, and that's what we're able to spend out. And so there's no way for us to recoup anything that we've lost. I don't know if that makes sense.
A little bit.
But
It's
I
like your savings account. If you didn't
Yeah.
put anything in it, you know, and all you did, say the savings account, you started out with $5,000 at the beginning of the year, and all you do is just take out of the savings account. Most people would put back in the savings account, but it would be like if you then put that money that you get back into your checking account.
Why would you do that?
It's called government.
But I just don't feel like that wage concessions should be,
And actually, what it's doing is it's just showing you what we put out in wages.
can we also know, like, what concessions made too? To see, like.
I don't have that paperwork. I can get you that, what they made as well.
I mean, there should be a profit there.
Right, so I feel like with that, you know what I mean?
That helps offset the pool operational cost.
Right,
I had another
But
question
what
on
you're
that
saying is the
also.
profit would not go into our revenue pile, would it? It goes into a different account.
Yeah,
Because
Okay.
it's, government is giving us the 200,000,
yes,
and so it's coming out of,
yeah.
yeah.
It's kinda like a
going
school
somewhere
budget.
else. Yes, we get that, yes. Where consumable items and non-consumable items, and I have no idea what they are, which
Mhm.
line they need to go into,
Mhm.
yeah,
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 and it's very hard to get your head around it because it works
right.
totally different or unlike anything that you've ever experienced.
right.
Leave it to the government to convolute it.
I just don't think it's fair that we're getting docked for having employees
So,
doing.
another question here, there's a $58,000 expense, is that gonna be in addition to the
Well, no, the
204?
no. Well, see
So-
the
so we're gonna-
136. See the 136.
Yeah,
Okay, that's the 68 and the 58. So what was done is that these wages and the pump house, well, no, that was the pump, that was a motor we had to replace, and the heater, service on the heater and that, was taken out. So with those being taken out, and the soft play features, like the logs and the pads that we had replaced on
Mhm.
there, so that falls into that. So that was taken out of, that was taken away so that you come up with the 68. Because if you put all that in, you'd come up with the 136. So this concession stand wage is not, this concession stand wage is really not an expense. Because it's not underneath. So you have revenue and you have expense, and then these were expenditures we had, but those were pulled out. And by pulling those out, then that's how you come up with the 68. Because if not, it would be the
204.
one,
More.
the 136.
Right.
Well, wait a minute.
To the 204, right?
Yeah, because the revenue comes in at 136, and then the expenditures, yeah.
127. 68, 523, and 58,
Well, I'm not
818
finding
is
where
not
this number is
136.
over here,
I have to get out my
because this is our revenue. Expenses is this.
So why are those
This
pulled
is a
out?
very confusing
Yeah.
way this
Yeah,
is
that's
written. I mean,
not-
everything, like the revenue column here at the bottom, it says 136. That's what we took in, so that would be right. So then expenses, and then the other one all the way to the right is something completely different.
Okay, so if you take this column over here, the far right column,
Uh-huh.
this adds up to the 58.
Yes, okay, that would make sense.
So, so this column adds up to the 58,000.
Yep.
Okay, that information was taken out. So if you add the 68,000 at the bottom, then you come up with the 127,342.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not exactly sure on how that would have.
So this column on the right, it doesn't say what it is. Are those
Well, it's
expenses?
expenses,
Okay,
but is some, so they're not included though in the expenses here, because that two oh
Correct.
four, that column here adds up to 204. So who's paying the 58? Like that's not, it's,
Okay, so I see what they did.
so really
So what the revenue come in at
lost
136.
127,000.
Correct.
yes.
That's what I was about ready to
Right.
say. So the 136 is the revenue that came in.
Mhm.
All the expenses that you see in the second column come up to 204, 661.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, you subtract the revenue from the expenses and you get the 68 out of that. So if you would put in the third column,
Mm-hmm.
the 58, then instead of losing $68,000,
Oh, 127.
Should be
you'd
the
lose
one- yeah,
127.
127.
So that's the real number.
That's the real number.
Yeah, but this like the soft play equipment, that's not gonna be every year.
No, and
Right.
and the wages will
And those will
And-
fluctuate as well. The
and-
pump we had to buy, that's not
Mhm.
normal. The heater we had to buy, that's not normal. So that's
Right.
probably why those are over to the right.
right, because
that's
those
not a
aren't
normal operating
Well,
expense.
the
Correct.
for the year.
concessions should be though, close to that, because we have to sell concessions every year.
well, but that's the
It's-
wages though of the employees, and they get an extra $25 or $50 if they come back or 20 cents, 25 cents or 50 cents when they come back the next year.
Mm-hmm.
So those wages all change.
Okay.
Right, but
as
that's
well.
still an expense then. I think it should be in the middle column, but I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs of government accounting, so
Right. It's, yeah.
we just have to trust it, right?
Well, I think what I can do is I can get a hold of Rosie, and we can have her here, and she'll be able to explain it to you guys better, so you get a grasp of the situation. So I will get a hold of her and see
Yeah,
if she'd
maybe
be
next
able to.
meeting or in January or
Yes.
something.
Absolutely, she can come in and she can kind of help out with what we're looking at. So we're just trying to get that shortfall
Yeah.
Mhm.
closer
Yeah,
together.
that's why we're wanting an increase of yeah.
Correct,
Rates.
correct.
So the pool season, can you remind me when that is? Is that from Memorial Day until roughly when school starts? Does it go to Labor Day?
No, it goes for a couple weekends. It doesn't go to Labor Day, but it goes for 2 weekends after the kids go back into school.
But it's not during the weekdays.
No, we stop
So
during the
we're looking at
weekdays because we don't have
All June, all
lifeguards.
July, so roughly 10-ish weeks.
Well, and if you look back into
All right.
this here, it's third page, no. Let's see. This page has all the writing on it. I think it's the third page in. So that's how we broke it down, is that this year there was 80 days that the pool was open. And the average, so you can see where we
Oh, there it is, yeah, okay.
averaged it out. And I
Average
believe,
is
yeah. And so
12. What is it? I can't read what it says.
which part? I scratched out a couple things.
Average is
One-
$1,288 a day,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and that's cost to run. No?
No,
No, I don't know what that is.
no, that's, I think that's daily admission.
Oh, okay. So if I'm going in 2024 as a single adult, my $95, so it's 80 days, 84 cents.
So I didn't copy
Right.
these off for you guys.
Do that right?
I'm trying to.
$1.18. Went backwards.
Yeah.
And then now I'm gonna go up to 125.
Have you,
Mhm.
I'm sure there's some sort of.
So it's going up
program where you
25
have
cents a
it.
day per person. If
Pretty
you
much.
went every single day.
Yes. And
That's not
usually for like a
I'm sorry,
membership,
Karen, I didn't mean to.
No, that's all right.
if you do a membership, we worked that out that if you actually, I know the price thing scares people, but if you take it and the single adult, or was it the three? Anyways, the 2024 price allows you that you go 19 days and you pay for your membership.
Hmm.
So as you're a family, you need to go 19 days to make that membership worth it.
Okay,
So
Okay.
in
I was gonna ask that.
2025, even with the number we have, 18 days.
Oh.
And you get, it's worth it once you get 18 days in.
okay.
So even though the price
So that's based on if you pay the daily admission fee.
of,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
of $7.
Yeah, $7, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
actually raising
It's
it
still worth
is really not, I mean, it's only gonna affect one day.
I was just
That's
curious.
good for the public to know, because,
Yeah.
thinking about, I mean, that's quite a jump. For there's some families that, could struggle with some of that.
But
And then,
if you do the December one, that's
yeah,
pretty good.
I was just looking at
Yeah,
that.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Is that like just a Black Friday deal, or is that like the whole month of December?
I believe it starts around Christmas break. I have the flyer upstairs, I didn't bring it, I'm sorry. But I do believe that starts around that Christmas break or sooner than that, just so people can have them for the gifts on
Oh,
Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty significant.
Yeah, and then, in spring break, if you forget, you can still get 25% off, doing it that way.
With these numbers, have you figured out with what happened this year, if you would have charged next year's price?
Gonna ask that
Yes.
too.
I have,
Yeah, look what your projected costs are
What-
gonna, or
yeah,
your revenue's
what-
gonna be now.
Where would we be?
so this year, on season pool passes, so the memberships, we were 111,
Or 11,000?
$11,144.
Yep.
In 2025, next year, it'd be $13,750.
So it's not going up a whole lot, $2,000.
Nope. And then, if the general mission, we made, this year at $5, we were 103,888. And then if you do the $7, it would have had us come in at 145,443.
There you go.
So that's where,
That's significant.
that's where it really kicks in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now
I mean, it's not gonna do the whole thing, but it's still significant.
yeah, it definitely helps.
Yeah.
Definitely helps. I mean, it
Yeah,
is an
and-
amenity of the city, so.
And again, with this, the park is a service,
Sure.
and
I mean,
so,
it's a benefit of living here.
and we're not supposed to, we're not for profit.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we need to make money,
But-
enough money to
We
keep the doors
shouldn't be
open
for
too.
loss either.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, we should.
Yeah.
but if we can
That's why we tore
be
up the
the closest to breaking even,
Yes.
that's a much easier situation to be in,
Yeah,
that way, so.
yeah.
There was something else I was gonna say along the lines in the pool, and I can't. Yeah, so the early bird prices do start in December, is what I have here. something else that when I was. Man, oh man, my memory's getting really bad.
It only gets worse.
Well, the problem is I accelerated my memory loss by falling.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I wished I didn't. It's the one thing I do remember.
What'd you do?
I fell out of a tree February 18th last year, and I had my 22-foot ladder up, and then I stepped off of it and started climbing the tree, and the limb couldn't hold my weight, so when I pulled to go up, it snapped, hit me across here, and I was knocked out and I fell on my back. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very thankful that I'm even
You are,
walking.
you are
so.
lucky
Yeah.
you are alive.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and functioning.
Correct. Shoot. Oh, now I remember.
Was it
Okay.
on here?
No, I did not put this in because, like I said, I met with the mayor today to kind of go over these things. He wanted an idea of what I was thinking and what I was going to present to you guys. We also, right now, if the pool's been open for 6 seasons. So, this coming year, it'll be 6 years and 7 seasons, because we opened it in July of 2018. We haven't changed anything. It's a great attraction. It does everybody loves it. I'm not saying that. But, you like the splash pad, I really want to change some features down there.
Oh, sure.
Because it's been there for 14 years.
Yeah.
It's not that it doesn't serve a purpose, but it would like to, maybe make it a little bit better, change things up a little bit. So,
Why you
make-
paint your living room? You know?
right. So the mayor and I we're going to contact Councilman Hunsinger, which is the same people that engineered just the pool part, not the whole complex.
Mhm.
And they're going to work up a kind of a feasibility study, if you will, for the property over here that's next door. And what we're looking at is looking the feasibility for a lazy river.
Oh my gosh, I'd love that.
So it's not to say that we're going to do it. It's just that we're starting to look. By the time this thing would even take off, the pool would have been here 10, 11 years. So we're just kind of going down that road to see the feasibility of it. But that's something I wanted to let you guys know, that's going to start here probably this next year is to.
Cool.
Oh, I vote yes on that one.
And then one of those giant buckets
Love
that
those.
dump 5 million gallons on you.
Yeah, well, you go to Splash Pad and you get 3
Yeah.
buckets dumping on you.
They do.
So yeah, I wanted to let you guys know about that as well. So if I come and say, hey, this is what we're thinking, you go, well, we didn't even think you were thinking that kind of stuff. So I don't know if I can answer any questions, but do you have any questions?
Are we voting on the new pool prices?
We do need to have a
That's it.
vote on that.
We do,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So we need a vote for I think the new pricing sheet that I handed out, the membership rates, and it would also include the pavilion.
Yeah, the rentals and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I move that we adopt the 2025 membership rates and the new pavilion rental prices.
And I second.
Okay, any discussion before we vote? No questions? Okay, all in favor? Aye,
I
okay. So
Okay.
moved.
That was the bigger items that we needed to take care of. Have you guys heard
You-
anything and have a question about
You
something?
didn't speak about the skate park.
Oh,
at all. Is there an update on that?
yes, there is. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
As you can tell over there, when you've been going by, it's more defined.
Mhm.
What happened with that is that, excuse me, definitions of rough grade. It's kind of like, what's your definition of clean? So we had Hunger Skate Park come up and meet us, and their form of rough grade is you get it all like smooth and like kind of hilly and stuff, because you have to compact it with what they call a sheep's foot,
Mm-hmm.
and that's to vibrate and compact the ground in.
Oh.
And to do that safely, you can't just have a shear wall. So you have to build it and make it roll, and so that's why. What's
It's
that?
got to flow.
Correct, so that the sheep foot can go up and over it and turn and all that stuff. So then what Hunger will do is they'll come in with a mini skid loader or a mini excavator, and they will actually cut into that. So it'll be more of, a bowl that goes around, or it'll be more aggressive.
Mhm.
They'll make it more aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
and do cuts that way. So knowing that, the city, when we said we'd get everything to rough grade, well, we got it to rough grade, what our definition was. So then Hunger came back and said, well, no, that's not rough grade to
Wasn't
us.
really defined and explained very well.
So then we had to ask T&E to help us out with
What's
that.
T&E?
T&E is a subcontractor for Schenkel that's
Oh,
doing
okay.
the work over there. So with Schenkel and T&E and us, we collaborated over there and said, and we got Hunger, and they said, okay, we need it this way, and that's fine detail work that we couldn't do.
Hmm.
So that's why we.
Yeah, I mean, does the city not build a skate park?
Mhm.
You know?
So
Build a
so we
spot,
we
so.
came together with T&E, and we figured all that out, and
Nice.
T&E came in a couple weeks and had it all done.
I've not been by there during daylight.
So it looks amazing. Grass is growing very well, and that is a huge
That's a
thing,
huge plus.
because it was so much clay over there. So I'm just surprised of how nice the grass is coming up compared to when we tried to overseed it or whatever. When the school left and we wanted to make sure there wasn't erosion, we tried to plant it, and
It didn't last long.
it was just weeds.
Yeah, just weeds.
So I'm amazed at how
What'd you do
nice.
to make the grass come up? 'Cause, yeah, I live by here, it's all clay, my grass,
Yeah.
yard stinks.
Aw.
Harlow is a landscaping company that did Westgate,
Okay,
and they had so they were contracted by Westgate contractors. They were a sub for them, so they're a sub for Schenkel. Yeah, I always get them messed up with the milk. So they went ahead and they were the ones that did it. And from the marks that I see, they actually drilled it
Mm-hmm.
into the ground.
Huh.
And then they put straw over the top of it. So instead of just throwing it out on top and then maybe taking something over to drag it and to get it in, and then you have all the
Yeah.
birds and everything. So they actually, they had a seed planter. And if you
Huh.
see some of it down there, you'll actually see it in
Just
rows.
use
Rows.
rows.
Yeah.
It'll spread.
But
Yeah.
they did a great job, and they will have to come in after the project is done and touch up or complete some of the other areas. So we were hoping that would be started here soon. We were told that once they got done with their one project they had going on, that they were going to be here. And then when the gentleman came up here to talk to us about it, they were actually on another project. So we were trying to figure that one out. They were supposed to get started on it this month. Now it looks like obviously they're going to have to start on it next month. And then it becomes weather dependent.
right.
Whether you can,
Hmm.
because how they pour the concrete is, have you guys ever seen a in-ground pool go in?
Mm-hmm.
So they put the metal and the re-rod and the reinforcements and everything. Then they stand there with a hose and the concrete is really sticky, and so they just blow it onto the dirt, and it sticks, and then they smooth it out and get it all going. So obviously there have to be some pretty good conditions to do that.
So, how do they reinforce that concrete so we don't have cracks that begin? to
There'll
form
be
over
re-rod
time?
run through it,
Really?
or reinforcement fence.
Really? They
Um,
can do that even with the curvatures and everything, okay.
It's easier to do with reinforcement wire
Sure,
because it's a 4x8 sheet of
Right.
basically looking like fence,
yeah,
and so they can go up there and then they can push it.
push it in, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know their process, so I don't know if they're gonna do small footers or if they try to get it to the ground somehow. I don't know about
I
all
mean,
that.
Law and Skate Park in Fort Wayne is still holding up well, so.
In the same Hunger also?
I'm sorry?
Same company?
I don't know who built that
Oh,
one
okay.
in Fort Wayne, but it's
Kendall,
been there for a long time, and.
That's important.
yeah, Kendallville has one. Hunger just put that in last year. Everybody loves it, and I'm not sure on how it's surviving or how it will survive this winter.
Yeah,
But it's close enough we could go up and look and see.
the swing, how's the swing going out there?
I see
People love
out
it.
there all
Yeah,
the
good,
time.
good.
Yep, and almost every time I drive by, there's someone sitting there.
Yep, it's been a nice addition,
Mhm.
and from what I understand, it's a real easy, smooth
Mm.
swing as well.
Will it
So
eventually be lighted, so it can be used in the evenings or nighttime?
they're putting up light poles. Yes,
Okay.
it'll be lit, and they'll have cameras on the poles. That's what the extra conduit you see sticking out of the ground is for.
Yeah.
We just
Infrastructure
obviously
pieces.
we can't put them in right now
Well, sure.
because cement trucks and things would hit them.
Right,
Wouldn't be worth it.
yeah. that's
Um,
what it was.
And the swing is able to be added onto.
Oh, very nice.
And so there is the musical notes up top. I don't know if you've seen that or heard about those. But that's the start of the Columbia City fight song.
Oh, I love that.
Love it.
So when the sun hits it a certain way, the musical notes go on the ground, and if you can read music, then you understand that it's
I love
the
that.
Columbia City song. So the idea of it then is the mayor wanted to make sure that once it got added onto, it could be, more of the song.
Song continues.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I
That's neat.
think this next, it would take the swing that we have and then adding on another swing at some other time to get the whole first part of the school song
Wow, that's really
on the
neat.
ground when it was,
Mhm.
when it could be projected onto the ground, so.
So if the sun can project it, then it'll just play.
Yeah, I want it to play too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
that'd be
That would be neat.
The
Yeah.
faster you swing, the faster it plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's the method behind the madness on that, so. And I think it takes one more set like that. It may take two. I'm not real sure, but, and then, I know that the, mayor is also with Chip and gonna be myself as well. They're kinda in that infancy stage of the amphitheater.
Mhm.
So there's gonna be quite a bit more talk about it next year as we go through.
And what about the disc?
Well, I had the gentleman come in from Ligonier, and I asked him about back here in the woods, because that's kind of the place they could make it however
Yeah,
they want to make
Here at
it.
Eagle Park.
Right. It's kind of the last piece of ground that we haven't had anything spoken for. And him and another gentleman went through there, and of course it's kind of a flood area back there and things, so it's quite a bit wet. So he didn't really think that would be a good idea because he'd only be able to get a minimal amount of holes back there. And what he wanted to do was dive into the mountain bike trails, and in certain situations, certain places make them wider. Well, actually, most of the trail would have to be wider. And then, you know, like for instance, the one he told me about that he was all excited about was the one that they would have a tee box and the fairway go along the poles in the back behind the pond.
Mm.
And then they were going to have to do something, you know, in the mountain bike trail there and change it. So the way he was talking, it was going to be more invasive to the mountain bike trails. And I know there's a lot of people that like our mountain
Yeah.
bike trails. So I've just kind of sat on it because I think we're just getting too confined over
Well,
there.
Right, maybe we can find someone else that would be more willing to do
Could do
what
that
you're
too.
talking about instead of
Yeah.
venturing out.
I don't play disc golf, but there's a, up in Three Rivers, there's a park I ride at, and there's 3 disc golf courses there. And I don't know how big this park is, but I'm guessing it's probably 100 to 150 acres.
Hmm.
And there's 3 disc golf courses there. Maybe, there may be more acreage than that. I mean, the trail is 8 or 9 miles long now. And it crosses a lot of the fairways and stuff on this disc golf courses. And you need, I think, a tremendous amount of real estate for a disc golf course. It's not like regular golf, but I mean, a lot of those holes I've seen are, 300 yards or feet. I mean, 400 feet. I think you go by feet in the distance from your tee box to the basket.
Well, and that was
And we
the
just
other
don't.
thing.
I don't think we have that enough of that. Even if we eliminated the mountain bike trail, there you might be able to get one course in there, but then you wouldn't have the bike trail at all. And that
Right.
would be difficult.
And the other thing too is there's it all depends on what you put down for the tee box. Sometimes they just kind of build a
Yeah.
box and then they put stone or something in it, or
Mhm.
maybe they concrete it. He came up and said that I don't know if you guys are familiar with like hog slats for hog barns. It's basically a square that's already prefabricated, and the slots are about this wide, and they would just bring that in and set it down, and that would
Oh,
be the
that's right.
would be the tee box. And then you've got all the maintenance behind it, going around and making sure that
Yeah.
the chain nets are not broken
Yep.
and the poles
Trimming the
aren't,
trees.
yeah,
Trimming tree
trimming
branches.
trees and things like that. So it's definitely a big undertaking.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. To me, that's something that needs to be done out in the county. In this area, in the
How
Columbia
about
City
if
area.
it's like,
It's
can't
just,
be
it's difficult.
sprinkled throughout the park? Cause I've seen, like, they have it at Grace College, they have,
Mm-hmm.
it's, and it's kind of,
Well, you can, and what you have to do is maybe find someone else
Mhm.
that would be more,
Yeah, Sweeney Park has it.
mhm,
Mhm.
that may understand more so that, you can't have, because they say that you don't have to necessarily have 18 holes.
Right,
That's a
Right.
fallacy,
Yeah.
you could have 9,
Right.
and it just play like everything else. You could have 3, something like that, just to say you have something.
right.
But I also mentioned something to the effect of down at the Vole. There's a trail that goes around in there.
In
I'm
that woods there to the west?
Yeah, and I'm sure you could get a couple holes in there.
Oh, at least.
And then use the Vole as kind of an area as well.
Make the tunnel a fairway.
You could. So I think what you have to do is you have to have someone that comes in and would listen to your needs and your wants
Yes.
for something like that, and not try to push their,
Yes.
because the one gentleman was like, oh yeah, I made this course, and his son was sponsored, and he was trying to make it like a world championship course.
And we're just thinking some people would like to come down and have some fun.
Mhm.
right.
Right,
Yeah.
That's a big
right,
And
thing right
not,
now.
Right.
I
have
mean,
tournaments and all of that stuff or whatever, just,
So I know I have his number, which, of course, I don't want to go forward with him. I
Right.
think I may have one other person's number. I just haven't reached out
okay.
to that person.
I know my
There's
son-in-law is
also-
really interested. I asked him if he knows anybody.
There's Warsaw, there's a a guy that I know really well, that they know someone in Warsaw who did that.
I see.
And I think
Mhm.
like they even have
Where is it in
a
Warsaw?
store there now too. The store is, I don't know where that is, but there's like I
Is it
think
the
it's right
course
off
in Winona?
30.
Is it at Winona?
Maybe that's what it is, yeah.
Because
Is
the
it disc
gentleman
golf
was
course in
talking.
Winona?
Yeah, that's where it is.
It's what the gentleman was talking to me about. That I was talking to.
It's not near the mountain bike trail in Winona, I can tell you that.
No, it's not. He didn't say
Maybe
it
it's
was.
over by Grace.
But
somewhere.
he did say it was over that direction.
Okay,
He's familiar with it.
Hmm.
I don't know if he had a hand in it or not.
interesting.
So, you know, and on the heels of that, the dog park has reemerged. So
That's something I think we really need to tackle.
I've gotten some information from IPRA down there. They have a new like artificial turf that has a burlap back to it, and what that means is that you don't have to put you don't have to build the base like you would for an actual AstroTurf, and then the actual AstroTurf has a rubber backing, and so after a while it smells because the urine and everything can't
Ooh,
go down through.
yeah,
So they actually have this little like dog stuffed animal that's peeing straight down and it's going straight through the artificial turf. And so I want to get those guys up here to see. I know that Mark had plans for one back at the soccer fields back there.
Right.
Mhm.
I wanted to look at it and see if we really need to start out as big as what he was projecting. It might be something that we start out smaller and kind of gauge the temperature of the citizens, because when people hear dog park, they just think they're going to let their dog run. And that's not the case. You have to have vaccinations up to date. You have to pay a membership fee. There's other certain criteria that you have to have when you go in, because there's can be dog fights.
Mhm.
You know, in Bluffton, they had a dog that got out and messed up a lady's face in the parking lot, and so she had to go get plastic surgery for that. So yeah, in when you say dog park, you just instantly go to, oh, I can take my dog and I can take this and it's free and I just need to go in and throw the ball and he can go. And I just think if we start a little bit smaller and gauge the temperature of the citizens as to whether they like it or not, or if they still just go down to field 5 or field 4 and shut the gate and
Yep.
let the dogs run. So I mean, it would be great to do something really big, but I'd hate to do something really big and then it doesn't go over.
right.
And then we
Be
have
a
this,
waste, right.
then we
Yeah.
have this big thing sitting there and it's not being
Yeah.
used to its potential. So, so I am on that process again, to see if we can get that going. I know a young lady from the high school was trying to help Mark get donations, and so I kind of want to put her name back on it as well, because she was working hard to try to raise donations. She was trying to get into it, like these seniors are getting into it. She wanted to be really involved in community, and it just kind of faded away, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I hope to spark that fire again and get it going. So that be coming up too. I'll be showing you guys plans of that and what it looks like going forward. There's some other hurdles we'd have to get, is probably have to have a drinking fountain for the dogs in,
Right.
and those right now that you can fill a water bottle and then down at the bottom it has a place where a dog or whatever can drink. Those are going roughly about $6,000 to $7,000. So, and then any other apparatuses that go in, they're not going to be cheap.
Oh, gosh.
And it's just like playground equipment.
Right.
Yeah,
It,
unfortunately.
they know that it needs to be safe, and they know that the only place you can get it is through them, and
Mm-hmm.
so they kind of have it cornered. So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but we are throwing that back out in the ring and seeing what happens.
Cool.
See where we go forward from there. So, any other
Anything else?
questions?
I don't have anything.
A lot of stuff going on right now, really,
Mhm.
for just being December. And the guys are making more of those concrete.
Balls, the concrete balls, good.
hmm
Nice.
So, and then we'll figure out where we're gonna put them, and then let you know
Paint 'em up.
for the spring and next fall and that. Did I tell you that the community foundation had their youth council come over,
Oh, no.
and they painted all the ones back at the pond,
Oh, nice.
and they had a great
Nice.
time. Matter of fact, a couple of them on youth council, and when they drove back through, they wanted to show everybody what they had painted. So
Nice.
it was kind of neat that they were doing that. So,
That's neat.
Yeah, that's very cool.
so.
Okay.
Well, that's all I had. If you guys don't have anything,
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Bye-bye.
hang on a second.